Hi, I'm your host, Cristiano. Welcome to Wellness for Realists, where we help you live a healthier, more satisfying life. When most of us hear the word yoga, we either thank God we're doing it, or if we're not, we know we should be. But why? What makes yoga so special that 20 million Americans are practicing and another 60 million say they want to? Yoga literally means yoking together or uniting. The unity we're talking about specifically is among the mind, body, and spirit. There are many types of yoga out there, including vinyasa, hatha, and somatic, just to name a few. Yoga does not require a gym, and depending on the type of yoga you are interested in, pretty much any body type and age can access the gifts that yoga has to offer. Some people use yoga to get in shape and stay fit, but yoga was originally conceived to prepare the body for meditation. Here in the West, using yoga to prepare for meditation has been diminished, and at times completely lost. Depending on where you go for your yoga and what type of yoga you do, if you look for it, you can still find yoga studios and ashrams that follow yoga with meditation and spirituality. For thousands of years and to this day, people in the Nile can still be seen doing yoga each morning. The link to harmony, longevity, and yoga is very strong, as it helps to open the energy pathways in the body and improve circulation and flexibility, and at the same time, strengthening your body. Let's take a deeper look at the benefits of yoga. Yoga has stood the test of time through millennia, and most estimates put yoga origins in the 3,300 BCE range. Yoga is a Sanskrit word, and used in its highest form, it means to unite oneself with one's own being. It is this very quality about yoga that draws millions of people. The desire to be connected to oneself in today's busy world is greater than ever, yet more challenging. The exact origin of yoga is a disputed topic, but there were several seals discovered in the Indus Valley Civilization area dating back to 3,300 BCE, depicting images of people in what could be yoga poses. Some say that yoga was used in ancient rituals dedicated to the gods. Yoga made its way to the U.S. in the late 1800s and early 1900s, when yoga masters started traveling all over the world, including the United States. At this point, it was still a little-known practice in America, and it wasn't until 1947 that Indra Devi, who was from Latvia but trained with yogi Krishnamacharya, opened a yoga studio right here in Hollywood, California, which was the beginning of the yoga craze in America. Since then, the word yoga has taken on many meanings, and the practice itself has evolved, and in certain cases, some may say it has devolved. Power yoga, for example, or yoga designed exclusively for physical fitness, has many fans, but also naysayers, claiming that yoga created strictly for the sake of sweating only weakens the real message and purpose of yoga. Somatic yoga is yet another type of yoga that focuses the mind and body to help to reconnect the neuromuscular pathways that allow messages to get from the brain to the muscles. Somatic is based on customized movements specific to what each individual body needs. Yoga is a sea of information and offers opportunity to heal the body, mind, and spirit. In the studio with us today, we have James Knight, integrative therapist, certified yoga teacher, and Hanna Somatic educator. James works closely with patients to help them reconnect to their bodies, and whether you are in top shape or recovering from an injury, James specializes in optimizing health and wellness. James, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Great to have you here. Yeah, of course. Glad to have you here. So tell us first how you were drawn into yoga.
I was actually doing the math today before coming to the interview thinking, how long has it been? And it was actually almost 30 years ago.
Wow.
And I was going to Sonoma State University, and I stumbled across it. It was called Somatic Yoga, and it was my first class.
Were you only 2 years old? So you discovered
Somatic Yoga.
Somatic yoga.
Yep.
Okay, so tell us, since we're on that topic, tell us a little more about somatic yoga. What does that mean? How is it different from other yogas?
Well, first of all, it comes from the tradition of Thomas Hanna, and the class that I was taking was taught by Eleanor Criswell Hanna, which was his wife. Unfortunately, Thomas died in 1990, so the work, his work isn't well known. There's 150 certified Hanna Somatic educators worldwide. So at the time that I ran into the class, I didn't know it was so specialized.
Okay.
Yeah.
What makes it so specialized?
What makes it different is that in traditional yoga classes, you're learning to stretch a muscle, and in Hanna Somatics, you're learning to reprogram a muscle.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So then do you focus primarily on people who have injuries, or could it be anybody? Can anybody do this type of yoga? Or?
It can be anybody, yeah. In fact, it's so gentle and so easy that beginners find it very useful. Also, I have a huge population. I see clients one-on-one as well as I do retreats worldwide, but it seems like a lot of my audience is seniors or athletes recovering from injuries or anybody that has a repetitive, like an injury, like a desk worker, for example, that has tension in their shoulders or TMJ, stress-related things.
So with somatic yoga, do you always have to be there kind of coaching them and helping them, or is it something people can do on their own? This type of yoga?
Both, yeah. Interesting that this style of yoga that I teach is really relearning, repatterning your muscles. So it's a lot of instruction, and the way that you re-educate the mind to muscle is through practice and through experimenting. So it's like an exploration.
Okay.
So in a traditional yoga class, you're asked to go into a specific stretch.
Yes.
And a pose.
Sure.
And in somatic yoga, we do that, but the way that you get there is through exploring how your body feels and how your breath is in each moment.
Okay, so you're a little more conscious.
Yeah.
So when most people think about yoga, they think of physical exercise, unfortunately. Yeah. Tell us what you think really defines yoga.
Well, for me, yoga is really a lifestyle, first of all. Yoga for me is about cultivating peace and also cultivating self-awareness. So, you know, when you're on the mat, when you're exploring your breath, the first thing that you'll notice when you do yoga is that you find that you start relaxing. Mm-hmm. And so when you relax, I feel like a person has a better experience of who they are in that moment, a deeper acceptance of who they are in that moment, and also there's a sense of well-being that starts emerging.
Okay.
And the second thing is self-awareness, just feeling yourself moving, feeling yourself breathing, and the more that you can connect with yourself, the more that you can have choices in your life. You know, basically you're increasing your intuition, and you're feeling more of the truth in every moment, what you need, what your body needs.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
So for people out there that they want to start yoga, but they don't know how to begin, what do you suggest to them? Where do they start? What kind of classes do they take?
Well, first of all, it's much like any service industry. You know, when you're looking for a dentist or you're looking for a hairdresser, I think it's very personalized. So I think it's important that you look in the phone book or look on the internet and find out what the local studios are, and then actually go out and go to the studio, get a feeling for the studio, because there's a lot of different styles of yoga. I teach gentle somatic yoga, but there's vinyasa yoga, which is a flowing yoga that's very popular. You know, there's Anusara, there's EmPOWERme.tv, which is a power yoga. So I think it's important to go and check out the yoga studio, and if possible, then meet some of the instructors, and take a gentle class at first. You know, take a restorative class. Take something where you can really honor your body and just get accustomed to the instructions.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that are afraid because they may not feel like they're in shape enough to actually take a yoga class. What would you tell them?
Well, back to where your question was around what is yoga for me, which is around cultivating peace and self-awareness, is I get people asking me telling me or asking me, you know, I'm overweight, or I don't feel flexible. I would be uncomfortable if I went to yoga class. What do I wear? I'm afraid of embarrassing myself. You know, things like that. And what I'd like to encourage my students is, it's not about how flexible you are. It's not about what you look like. It's not about competing with the person next to you. You know, it's really about cultivating the right attitude and learning to just love yourself in that moment and say, hey, I'm here for me to learn about myself. Yeah. So it's really going in with an open mind and an open heart. And yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Excellent. I love it. So we have some questions from our fans out there. First one is Facebook. Constance Christian from Chicago Facebooked in. She said, if there's limited time in the day, what are the best poses for a quick session? What would you suggest for someone with limited time? Limited time.
Okay, well, we didn't talk about meditation yet, but meditation is often a part of yoga classes.
Yeah.
And meditation is really as simple as just closing your eyes and notice your breath, for example. There's a lot of different types of meditation, but to answer the question directly, I think it's really important to start with calming your mind so that you can be in so that you could prepare your body to move. So I would suggest just 30 seconds, 60 minutes, close your eyes, take some deep breaths, really drop in and just feel who and where you're at, who you are and where you're at. And then in yoga, there's a series called sun salutation. It's a series of 4 or 5 basic movements you can do.
Okay.
So I would suggest doing that, just warming up the body slowly, going slowly. Maybe even do a few neck rotations to get your upper body and your shoulders relaxed.
So sun salutations.
Sun salutations.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And people can just kind of look for that online, maybe look at it on your website.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we have another question. Miguel Meza from LA Facebooked in. His question was, do you think that hot yoga can be dangerous for a beginner? He's a massage therapist. He said he's treated many people with micro tears from doing hot yoga. Do you think hot yoga should be reserved for advanced yogis?
Okay. That's interesting. I've done a lot of hot yoga in the last 30 years. I don't think that hot yoga is inherently dangerous for anybody, but if you're a beginner, I would definitely recommend trying yoga in a non-heated studio.
Okay.
Because you're learning so much, there's a lot going on. You want to stay connected to your breath, you want to stay connected to your body, and sometimes in the heated classes, the adrenaline's running. There's a lot of distractions, your body's sweating.
Yes.
And you may override what your body's telling you. The instructor's telling you to lift a leg or to bend forward. So I would suggest not doing a hot yoga class if you're a new student.
Yes.
And get accustomed to moving and listening, breathing and finding your position on the mat.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So James, I know that you've been traveling quite a bit with work and teaching. Tell us more about your classes and what you're teaching.
Okay. Well, over the years, at first I'm an integrative therapist. So I started my career in learning massage.
Okay.
And then I was fortunate enough to meet Hanna, and she invited me to the Nevada Institute for Somatic Studies, and that's when I became a certified Hanna Somatic educator. And then also I started doing more yoga. So to answer your question, I've started dovetailing my specialties as a therapist into the style of teaching. And so it's been an organic unfoldment. I find that people really respond well to the instructions. Well, let me give a little history.
Yes.
Because any muscle that's stiff or sore means that the conscious part of the brain, the cortex part of the brain, lost control of that muscle.
Okay.
So if I was to touch you on your shoulders or feel somewhere in your body where there's a tight muscle,
yes.
Yoga stretching isn't always the best thing to do for that muscle because there's a stretch reflex. Like if I was to pull on you, your body would go, oh, no, don't do that, and would almost like pull back.
Okay, and tighten further.
Okay. Yeah, so somatics combined with yoga, with the re-education, seems to be more effective long term.
Okay.
Because you're retraining the muscle. So that's what I do primarily in my classes now. It's a restorative, gentle style where you're exploring your breath, exploring the movement, and the result is the muscles increase their range of motion. The strength returns because the muscle is more efficient.
Okay.
And of course, then you get the benefits of just feeling really good, when you're finished with the class.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, great. Well, James, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your insight and your expertise. It's been really nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Nice to host you. Let the audience know, if you will, how they can find you. A couple websites.
Oh, yeah, sure. I have 2 websites. The type of yoga that I've been explaining, you can go to my website is, gentlesomaticyoga.com. That's gentlesomaticyoga.com. And then where you can learn more about the therapies I do is energyflowing.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming in. It's been
Appreciate
nice.
it.
You bet. I want to encourage all of you to take up yoga. It is accessible to everyone, no matter what your fitness level is, and it is a great way to wake up your body and start to move in ways you may have forgotten you can. Some people have yoga studios nearby, but for those of you that do not, there are many different sources online that you can stream directly into your home. If you are not sure what style or level to begin your practice, feel free to contact me, and I will help to guide you to find a safe and fun way to begin. If you're a gym person and you feel like your muscles are very tight, yoga may be just what the doctor ordered to keep your joints healthy and limber. On the other hand, if you are recovering from an injury, a more gentle approach may be needed until you are healed up enough to get into some more challenging poses. Either way, yoga is an incredible addition to your current well-being plan and a great way to meet new people. Be sure to let us know how you are doing by emailing me directly or contacting us via social media. Make it a great week, and and we look forward to seeing you next time on Wellness for Realists.